Hey guys, I'm Canadian saxophonist Carson Freeman, and I want to talk a little bit about the harmonic overtone series and the Altissimo register on the saxophone and how they correlate. There's some guys that have put videos here on YouTube, so thanks a lot. Thanks for helping us out. I'm still learning how to play the saxophone, although I'm doing it professionally. It's a lifelong goal. So what I want to do is just explain why we learn the harmonic overtone series, which seems to be absent from here. Basically, as we play our saxophone, we're turning it into like a bugle. All the notes we're playing now are going to come out the bell of the horn, and we're going to use our embouchure, which includes our throat. We're going to be changing that up and produce different notes. As we go through the harmonic overtone series, as we get to different notes, that's where our embouchure changes. So as we're playing the saxophone, as we go from the lowest notes to the highest notes, or to the extreme registers, which is known as the Altissimo register, or what I like to call the super Altissimo, which is really those screaming notes that you might hear Lenny Pickett play and guys like that. As we're going through the range of the saxophone, our embouchure is changing. Sometimes it changes very subtly, and sometimes it changes drastically if we're doing a big intervallic leap. So basically, by practicing the overtone series, we're going to get a good grasp of the fundamental, the lowest notes, and those should be the ones that are practiced the most because they're very, they're a relaxed way of playing. So if I get my low B flat, I want it to be really relaxed, nice, calm, long tone. Okay. Most people have actually played the overtone series the first time they played the C major scale. It sounded like this. They hit those notes there, and what that is, it's just your embouchure hasn't changed. You're playing that regular relaxed embouchure for those notes, but it has to be a little bit more loose. Think about your bottom lip is going to be like my thumb here. Okay, so if we're playing any note on the saxophone, we've got to push the reed towards the mouthpiece. Sometimes when you're trying to play a high note, you get this. And what that's doing is it's closing the reed right up tight against the tip of the mouthpiece. We might get little squeaks flying out of the sides of our mouth, the sides of the reed and mouthpiece. And what that is we've put too much pressure and we might be too close to the tip of the mouthpiece. So what we want to do is we want to play with our bottom lip, nice and relaxed, pushing the reed. And I'm going to have a lot of lip surface like this for a low note. And as I get higher, I'm going to be using less lip surface while my lip is still on the reed. It's just going to be a little bit tighter. Okay. Practice the overtones by just seeing how many different notes you can play. Don't worry about the order and the sequence of notes that are going up through the harmonic overtone series. Just concentrate on getting a bunch of different notes. Like that. You can do it off any note. This is going to sound pretty horrid, but this is going to be, I'm going to play off the C sharp, no octave key. I would normally just rest my fingers on the keys, but just for the sake of showing you that I'm only using my embouchure. Okay, we can play all sorts of notes up there. You can get to a part, this is crazy, but check this out. A lot of flexibility there. We're using our lip, and we're getting really flexible with that. We're playing a whole bunch of notes. When you're practicing these things, put them right into the context of improvisation right away. Play around with them. Make sure that your ear is hearing them. Have fun with that. And then once you learn how to do that, then go back and study some of the theory behind it and what you're doing. I think we got to play first and learn later. That's how people learn music. So I think it's how it's best learned, I should say. Another thing is, when you're playing the overtone series, you're going to be using your ears and you're going to be hearing a lot of neat things. And with that in mind, listen to a lot of great players that are putting that into their playing. If you like traditional jazz, you can listen to John Coltrane, especially his later music. He was playing a lot of that. You could listen to some of the experimental players like Evan Parker, or Colin Stetson is doing some really cool things. Some smooth jazz guys like... if you're into that, Warren Hill is a really good Altissimo player, and David Sanborn, who's influenced so many players. He's a great contemporary saxophone player. So just make sure you're listening to that as a reference point. And as I mentioned earlier too, Lenny Pickett, he was great at that. So play around with it. One other thing that I like to kind of do is get split tones. And what happens is a lot of people got a split tone when they first tried to play a G with the octave key. Once again, that was because their embouchure was not tightening up the way it should have been. So they went up to, and they got that sound there. It doesn't sound great, but when you get that on the higher notes, you can just very subtly, and like it's the difference between my hand being like this and my hand being like this. You didn't really notice any movement, but it's just the most subtle difference can make that a split tone. I got my high C, and I can turn that into a kind of a Michael Brecker type feel, and of course he's the greatest sax player. I named my dog Brecker because I'm crazy. But yeah, you can hear those types of playing and different types of sounds with the Altissimo register, and that's one of the main reasons we're going to learn the harmonic overtone series. We're learning our embouchure, we're learning how the embouchure works, and once we master that, we're going to be able to get those higher partials, those other notes in there too. Go home, practice it, think it through, and let me know. Thanks guys, have a great day.